Hi, welcome to Jim and Bill's. In case you missed it, had a lot of interesting things to talk about this week, and some of them we think we'll be talking about in the week to come. And so we thought we'd remind you by playing some highlights from this past week of things that we think are going to be kind of important. Hope you enjoy it.
Drone-demonium. We got more drone-demonium going on, and there's something to this, but they're going, no, there's nothing to see here. And then the key word that I hear is, well, there's no evidence.
Well,
thank you, Joe, for that statement.
Yesterday on Good Day New York, the mayor of Belleville, New Jersey, Michael Mellom, was talking about a meeting that he went to and what they told him at this meeting. You got to hear this.
Belleville Mayor Michael Mellom says the drone sightings are creating anxiety in his town, and he's looking for answers. And he joins us this morning right here on Good Day New York. Thank you for joining us, Mayor. You know, President-elect Trump says that the Biden administration knows what's going on. Our government knows what's going on. You're the mayor of Bellevue. What do you know?
We know very little. About 6 days ago, there was an unprecedented briefing with every single mayor in the state of New Jersey, along with every member of our state legislature. We learned exactly at that time what the state knows, which was very little. Since then, information has not been forthcoming. And it's this lack of transparency, in my opinion, that's doing nothing but fueling conspiracy theories online.
Do you have any idea what it could be, or which side it could be, where it's coming from?
Yeah, I can tell you what it's not. We know for a fact it's not little green men, and more than likely it's not a foreign adversary, because they would be able to figure out how to turn off the blinking lights. These drones are huge. We had a mayor yesterday on the call with the White House telling them that he had 6-foot drones hovering over his house. Yet they continue to tell us we don't know what we're talking about. It's misidentification. Certainly there's some misidentification probably going on, but I could assure you that we are seeing drones in New Jersey all over the place.
All right, so Bethany Frankel, I know she's not like, the New York Times, but she says that she has like some kind of contact at the Pentagon, and that it has something to do with radioactive material in New Jersey. What are you hearing?
So here's what I know. I know that we were told by our state police that we have assets over our critical infrastructure. Now, depending on your point of view, that's either concerning or comforting. I think it's comforting because it's probably us listening and watching. We also know that we have drones that are flying in a grid-like pattern. In my opinion, they're looking for something. What might they be looking for? Well, potentially, we're aware of a threat that came in through Port Newark. Maybe that's radioactive material. There was and there is an alert that's out right now that radioactive material in New Jersey has gone missing on December 2nd. It was a shipment. It arrived at its destination. The container was damaged and it was empty. So potentially we're looking for that.
Stop right there, Mayor, because that's very important information. And that came from a credible source.
That came from the U.S. government.
And so it's missing?
Missing.
And they think it's in New Jersey, or it could be anywhere?
It was lost in New Jersey, in transit. And again, this is just an example of what I think that we're sniffing for. I think we do have the assets that can go up and fly around and sniff things, which is why we're not seeing the uptick we used to see in Belleville anymore. It's kind of moving, but we're seeing alerts that it's happening now in Pennsylvania.
And that's right about the time that the drone sightings began, right?
Yeah, drone sightings began about 4 weeks ago.
Okay, so when you take a look at this, if this information is indeed credible, why wouldn't the government say, it's us?
That's the crazy part about this. We've gotten very little information. Even yesterday on that call with the White House, literally mayors were told, you guys are seeing things. There's no credibility to this. We have one mayor, like I said, had drones over his house. I mean, we're no longer going to stand for not hearing the truth. I mean, our state government is failing us. They're not getting the answers from the federal government. And even though yesterday they told us that there's nothing to see here, today there's a top secret briefing going on in Congress. Well, what are they being told that we weren't told yesterday?
Real quick, did you know yesterday when you were on that call about this missing radioactive activity or merchandise, or did you know that this morning after the call?
I was made aware of it yesterday morning. I did raise my hand. We weren't allowed to speak. I did raise my hand, was not called on to get that question answered.
So apparently it is concerning. Even the president-elect, who I'm sure gets some kind of briefings on things, he says he's not going to his home in Bedminster, right?
Yeah, I listened to him yesterday. He no doubt gets the same exact briefings that President Biden gets. He says our government knows. He says our president knows. And he also ended with saying, I'm not going to be in New Jersey this weekend.
So what do you want to know? What do you want the government to tell you and the general public?
I want them to be clear with us. I want transparency. I want them to say these are our assets. There's no need to concern about what's flying. The question should no longer be who's flying these drones or who owns them. It should be what they're looking for. Tell us they're ours. Tell us that they're protecting us, and tell us what the threat is.
Okay, we're coming up on the holidays. Is everybody going to be safe?
I hope so.
What do you want people to do if they see them?
That's a great question. So we've been told that pilots out of Newark Airport are getting hit with lasers. You cannot take the law in your own hands. We do not want you shooting at them. It is a federal offense to shoot on an aircraft. Drones are considered aircraft. And please do not try and hit them with lasers. Our pilots are being distracted.
So you think they're American, they're our government, and they're looking for something that went missing that could be very dangerous?
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay, so they think it's radioactive material that's been lost.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. In that report, he said that the material went missing when?
December 2nd.
Okay, so
I feel like I'm on a test now. I had December 2nd.
Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, so we're talking about the mass drone sightings, and they think that maybe we're a little bit dumb and that we don't know when the I just looked. Mass drone sightings happened on November 18th, before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think that there are convenient manufactured excuses. You know,
yeah.
I think there's something more going on.
Exactly.
And
they're even talking about the number of drones registered.
But I want you to pay attention to something, Bill. Even on our show, there are far fewer stories right now for us to go to regarding the drones. They have purposefully, I think, gone on to another news headline, you know, and they're trying to get our attention away from the drones.
Because there's something there. They're saying there's nothing there. Don't worry. But it's Democrats that are all clamoring together. There's nothing there. And then, you know, I looked at another fact, and it's a distraction because if I was up to something nefarious or I just wanted to play a joke on everybody, my drone wouldn't be registered. But now they're trying to, what they're saying, well, you know, drones registered, whether hobby or commercial, is, as of October, was 791,597. It was an important number to put out there. All these statistics were prior to everything. And I'm going like they're building a story and building a narrative to sit there and get us confused. Again, drone ammonium. They are lying to us. And so what he's saying about that, yeah, I do believe that something went missing. And they're saying all these drones are sniffing.
Or did it? Or did something just get moved conveniently so that they could use it as an excuse?
Exactly. There is a big, fat lie going on here. And I find it appalling that one particular party is clamoring around it, and it was a party that lost. And I don't want to sit there and really say anything nefarious, but are they going to stoop to something really heinous and low?
Well, let me tell you what they're doing, speaking of heinous and low, while we're talking about that party. Right now, I didn't even know they had this. Right now, as we speak, they have made it, they've pushed the illegal border crossings to an all-time high. I'm talking about our administration. They even created an app. It's called CBP One. It's an app that the illegals have now on the other side that tells them where to go for expedited illegal entry into our country.
Tijuana.
They have, in Tijuana. I have a report from Ben Bergram. He was on with Steve Bannon on his War Room podcast. He and Oscar Ramirez, who is his sidekick, and they were on the border talking about this problem. Folks, if I told you, you have to see this. It's a conga line of illegals coming across our border at an entry point. I'm not talking about crossing down river, wading through the stream.
It's open gates, baby.
They have the gates open, and they're waving them in.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, here's Ben Bergram and Oscar Ramirez on Steve Bannon's program yesterday.
Steve, we're on our fourth stop on this tour, first of its kind. We've done 4 different borders. We started in Matamoros, went to Reynosa yesterday, did Nuevo Laredo, and now we're on the Mexico side of Eagle Pass, Piedras Negras, and shocker, every single one of them has CBP-1 going through. They also have heavy cartel activity, and actually, as we're speaking right now, we've got the jet boats on the river. They just went down. It looks like they were trying to push a group back onto the Mexico side. Behind me, behind the railroad crossing, is the Bridge 2 here at Piedras Negras, and that is where they're taking them across. And what's crazy, Steve, about every single one of these is they've changed the process. Instead of having them go wait on the bridge to where everyone can see them and you can see them as you're walking across the bridge, they are giving them concierge service. They're coming, they're picking them up. They're having them come to a specific time. Immigration's picking them up, and then they're driving them across and handing them over to Border Patrol. So it's more clandestine now, in a sense. They're trying to hide it more, but it's happening everywhere so far. And from here, we're heading to Juarez, so it's going to be a long day.
Oscar, what do you give me your perspective?
Well, the cartels is the number one thing that is going to be an extreme challenge for President Trump. The number one thing that he needs to do is just label them as terrorists, because the Biden administration opened this window. That behind us, you can see the Constantino wire, that it was that Greg Abbott put this Constantino wire, but the cartels still operating to non-ports of entry, to undisclosed areas, that they are still smuggling individuals into the United States of America. So the cartel, it is not going to go away that easy. It is going to be an extreme challenge. These people are not going to say, oh, it is closed now, we're going to go away. They have made billions of dollars under the Biden administration. This is why, Steve, there needs to be a huge consequence and a huge example that people in Washington, these NGOs, these people in the United Nations, they need all of them to be held accountable, so the example will be, be put to the cartel immediately.
There's so much to talk about. Huh? Think about it for a second. While we're looking at New Jersey and these drones buzzing around the skies,
right,
in the border area of our country, right, they have put a full court press on it, so much so that they weren't being as productive just by waving them in. They have sent, literally, drivers across to Tijuana at predetermined times to pick up the illegal immigrants, drive them. This is our immigration doing this, driving them to the border and handing them off to the Border Patrol. They are facilitating the illegal entry of these migrants into our country,
right,
and trying to do it as quickly and as efficiently as possible. By the way, we should also point out that this same administration has taken all of the supplies that we need to build the wall that are stacked up on the ground and have been rusting for the past 4 years.
Right.
They're selling them to private individuals, pennies on the dollar. And those private individuals have the gonads to go back to the federal government and try to sell it back to the federal government, to Trump and his administration, for multiple dollars, to make a big profit on the stuff that they really shouldn't even own in the first place. Understand something, friends. I don't see, personally, a difference between Joe Biden and his administration, Mayorkas et al. I don't see a difference between him and Benedict Arnold.
Well,
they're both doing stuff against our country's better interests.
Well, you know what? He's going to pardon himself. He's going to pardon Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney is now looking at treason because, she tampered with witnesses without their having. She just broke all the procedural rules.
Well, I got a whole list of things that.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that she did.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, little blonde girl needs to go sit behind bars for the rest of her life, because what she did was really it goes beyond anything that I could say, even on a podcast. It is that
for those of you who don't understand what's going on, Liz Cheney was referred for criminal investigation,
Right.
For witness tampering with a Cassidy Hutchinson. You know, that
Cassidy
was
Hutchinson.
the young woman, 24-year-old young woman who was shunned. She had been working in the Trump administration. She wanted to go to Mar-a-Lago to work there, and I guess it didn't work out. So she was going to put the screws to Trump, and she fabricated a story. She was the one who said, if you don't remember, I'll remind you, she said that Trump was, on January 6th, was in his limo, and he said, take me to the Capitol. And the driver said, no, sir, we have to take you back to the West Wing. He said, take me to the Capitol. Then she said, I'm the President of the United States. Take me to the effing Capitol. He said, Mr. President, I'm sorry, you have to go back to the West Wing. She then said he reached across and grabbed the steering wheel and got into a physical altercation with the Secret Service, none of which ever happened. Nothing. Zero. That's Jim and Bill's in case you missed it. Don't forget to check out the latest episode of Jim and Bill, It's Another Day, available right now on itsanotherday.com, itsanotherday.com, or your favorite streaming site. Talk to you again soon.